Actually, we don't have anybody yet. Let's wait and see.
Oh,
There we go. Happy Tuesday. Thank you for those attending today. We are going to just wait another minute to see if we get more people in, and then we'll go ahead and get started.
I will tell you, it is still a chilly morning, but it is a beautiful morning. So we've
It
got
is,
a happy Tuesday.
I think it's actually going to be warm this afternoon, which
Oh,
is,
that'll be nice.
yeah. All right, well, we will go ahead and get started. Hopefully, we'll get maybe another couple attendees, but I do want to give Beverly all the time that she needs today. Welcome to Tool Time Tuesday. Before we get started, I do want to mention that we do offer Spanish interpretation for these sessions now. So if you do need that service, you can look on the chat and our interpreter put those instructions if you need to use that interpretation. And so now we will get started with our Tool Time Tuesday, and we are happy to have Beverly Roberts with us today to kick off our Family Engagement Month Tool Time sessions. All of our sessions this month will be centered around Family Engagement Month, and Beverly knows all about that. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to her.
Thank you, Andrea. Oh, I feel the pressure. I hope everyone is doing well, and thank you so much for joining us today. In case you don't know, as we have said, November is Family Engagement Month, and we're really excited because the governor's office has officially proclaimed it Family Engagement Month in North Carolina. Now, I've said November is Family Engagement Month, and some of the other things we have in November, of course, is Thanksgiving, Veterans Day. We just got through the daylight savings time change. But in November, we also have National Authors Day, World Vegan Day, National Literacy Day. It's also National Caregiver Month. We also have Cookie Monster Day, National Healthy Eating Day, National Men Make Dinner Day. I'll let you know what day that is, you all. National Parents as Teachers Day, National Teddy Bear Day, Homemade Bread Day, National Cake Day, and National Kindness Day. But as much as I might would like to focus on National Cake Day, we are going to focus on Family Engagement Month, and that is focusing on building trust, collaboration, and teamwork with your child's educator. And let me see. But before we start on that, I have to remind you about some of the exciting things that are happening during Family Engagement Month. As I said, we have the proclamation, we have the family activity calendars. Andrew is going to be putting in chat the link to the Family Engagement Month web page. Please share that with your family and friends and with your school. Take a look at the family calendars. We have them in English and Spanish. We also have calendars for teachers and schools to support them around working with families. Please feel free to share that with your child's teacher. One of the exciting things that we are doing for the first time this Family Engagement Month is what we call celebrating Family Engagement Month by saying thank you. You can go on our website and you can write a thank you message to your child's school, your child's teacher, for having gone above and beyond in terms of supporting your family around family engagement. And we will be sharing those messages on the web page. So please, and we'll even take more than one. You may have more than one teacher, more than one child. So please feel free to go on the website and write your thank you. As Andrea mentioned, we have the Tool Time Tuesdays. We're not going to be doing Tool Time Tuesday next week because it's going to be Veterans Day. But the following Tuesday, we're going to be doing what we call 5-minute family moments that can make a big impact. We're going to talk to you about tools that can help you make sure that you connect with your child every day And then for the 25th, we're going to be having Amy Allen from North Carolina uh, Child, and she's going to be helping us in terms of with tools and tips around advocating for our child and others in the community. So please go to that web page and share. The other thing I want to mention before we get started is that after the webinar, the next day or two, we're going to be sending you some information. We're going to send you the PowerPoint, and I'm going to include in that PowerPoint my notes. We're also going to include what I call a resource page, and it is going to have a list of many different resources that support what I'm talking about today. There's also going to be a section on that resource page that will have many of our questions to ask document. So I look forward to sending that to you, and please review that and know that if you have any questions about what I've said in the materials that I sent, to reach out because that's one thing we don't mind talking about what we do. Um, Today, wanted you to take a look at the objectives. We're going to talk about creating ongoing dialogue with teachers and staff, strategies for resolving concerns early, communicating effectively, and creating small wins together. Now, realize we only have a very small amount of time, so I'm just going to be um, touching on these. These are really first line communications strategies. But as I said, know that if you have some other concerns, please feel free to give our office a call. I always hesitate before sharing this because it's rather intense. But I think anytime we talk about the importance of collaboration and partnership, we need to look at the broader picture, the real world of what our children may be exposed to, um, some of the concerns that we may have. So these are moments in America, and this we got from the Children's Defense Fund. So it looks at um, as we're sitting here, as I'm doing this presentation, what is happening with our children. Every 2 seconds, a public school student is suspended. Every 9 seconds, a high school student drops out. Every 30 seconds, a public school student is corporally punished. Every 21 seconds, a child is arrested. Every 62 seconds, a child is born into extreme poverty. Every 47 seconds, a child is confirmed as abused or neglected. Every 3.5 minutes, a child is arrested for a drug offense. Every 8 minutes, a child is arrested for a violent crime. Every 22 minutes, a baby dies before his first birthday. Every 3 hours, a child or teen is killed by a firearm. Every 5 hours, a child or teen commits suicide. Every 6 hours, a child is killed by abuse or neglect. And I think what this shows us is we got to work together. We got to keep our hands on our children. We have to work as partners, parents, schools, and community. I also did want to share, it's not up here, but a couple of other statistics as we think about our children with disabilities. Preschool students with disabilities represent about 13% of the nation's preschoolers, but they account for 75% of all suspensions and expulsions. When we look at our national stats, students with disabilities are overrepresented in discipline outcomes. We are 14% of the total school population, but 18% of school suspensions, 24% of out of school suspensions, and 17% of expulsions. So it is going to be so important for us to be able to collaborate and talk with our teachers, share our concerns. So just wanted to sort of share with you, bring in the real world as we talk about collaborating with our schools. So why is it important? One of the things that we know from the data is that for children with disabilities, one of the greatest predictors of growth and well-being is the involvement, the participation of families in their children's education. And the benefits are shared understanding of your child's strengths and needs is so important. We know that when teachers have a better understanding of our children, then they are able to meet the needs of our children better. So it is important that we share information with our teachers. There's also fewer misunderstandings. We need our educators as allies with us, sharing a common goal. And when we are collaborating, there is a consistency between home and school. One of the challenges that students often have is differing expectations. So when schools and parents are able to talk, expectations can be consistent. Okay, one of the first objectives that we talked about was ongoing conversation. Um, Last week I did a training with um, teachers and professionals. And one of the things that I always talk about is how there should be no child that goes to the first day of school and a teacher has not reached out and talked to parents. That needs to start early. And what I say to you as parents, if you have not had a conversation with your child's teacher, and I know at this point that should not have happened, or you're not having frequent enough conversations with your child's teacher, feel free to reach out. And when you reach out, please share what some of the positive things that are happening in addition to some of the challenges. Share what works at home. One of the things that's on the resource sheet that you will be getting is our Painting the Big Picture document, which that is a way for you to share what works with your child, what challenges your child, what your child likes, what your hopes and dreams are for your child, because that is so important to share that information for that teacher to know your child. Ask how your teacher prefers to receive communication. For some it's text, for some it may actually be the phone. There are apps that teachers may be using. So please make sure that that is one of the things that you know. Where will your teacher be looking for the communication for parents? What way will the teacher get it the quickest? On the other hand, please share with your child's teacher what is the best way for you to receive communication. I will say for me, send me a text. My emails, whereas I try to check them daily, um, other than work email, is maybe another day or two. So both you and the teachers need to make sure that you all share um, what is the easiest and most effective way to communicate. Keep communication short but consistent. I don't mean that you don't share what is important, um, but I think it's important to get to the point, share what your concern is, request a meeting if needed. Sometimes we can't share all the information that we need in an email because we need to get some feedback. But share your point, and if you need to meet, make that request. One of the things that we often share with parents, because schools have to reach out to us once a year for an IEP meeting. Sometimes that's misinterpreted that that's the only time. Anytime you have a concern, please feel free and comfortable to make that request. Now, when we look at issues will always come up. You know, I the collaboration and partnership between home and school, it's about relationships. And what we know about any relationship is issues can come up. The big key is whenever you have a concern, to address it early. Don't allow it to fester and, keep happening. And then it becomes a bigger issue. And then there's a lot of emotion in it. Really make sure at the first moment of concern to reach out. When you express a concern, use the I statement. It is so easy. I know just in terms of my relationships with folks, I have a concern, and so often it's easy to say you, to talk about what you have not done um, or should do. But think about rephrasing that. For example, if you have a concern about homework and you're seeing that your child is really stressed out about homework, instead of saying to the teacher, you are giving too much homework, that may indeed be the case. But to make it not be defensive, say that your child is having trouble with homework. Can we brainstorm about what's working, what's not? Because there need to be consideration about accommodations or modifications. But reframe it to an opportunity for us to discuss what's working, um, what's not. There's a concern, and you are requesting an IEP meeting. We can start out with something positive by saying, I appreciate the efforts of the IEP team, but can we meet? Can we review? Can we look at what other supports we might put in place? So, using the I statements and asking those questions about, can we brainstorm? Can we look at other supports? That is a way to bring everybody into focus, to make them a part, everybody a part of hopefully having more positive outcomes. And document conversations. I mean, I think one of the things that is so important, and it's not about trying to catch somebody, later on and say, look, I have my notes and this is what you said. It is about making sure we have a clear understanding of what the outcomes were. Making sure that if we're going to look at trying new modifications, that's in your notes so that you know, or new accommodations, when it's supposed to start, when are you all going to meet around reviewing how these accommodations are going. One of the things that I used to have is I just had a old regular composition notebook. And every time I met, I made notes. And that was helpful to me because I would forget. I'm saying, what did we say we were going to do? Have those notes um, there. Another thing you can always request um, for an IEP meeting to tape the meeting. So that would be something I would talk with the IEP team around. Sometimes, another parent may not be able to attend, and you want to make sure that they got the most updated information, all the information that you heard. Um, Empathy builds bridges. Um, Clarity keeps those bridges strong. And that's one of the things that we talked about when I was doing the staff training is for teachers to put themselves in the shoes of parents. Think about what all that parents have to do. And I also ask that as parents, we sometimes put um, teachers. We sort of put ourselves in their shoes. I can remember as a child. Uh, I don't know why. I don't know what we thought who we thought teachers were, but I don't think we thought teachers were regular people. Because I can remember going to the grocery store and being shocked. There's the teacher. I'm a child. Or going to the mall and there's the teacher. I don't know whether as a child I thought they just taught and then went home. But teachers are parents too. And so thinking of, putting yourself in their perspective. Be clear about what your needs are. Um, but say exactly what you mean and assuming good intentions. Um, and I think many of us have had a variety of experiences with our children, with educators, but also with ourselves. Sometimes we may not have had the best experiences when we were in school. Sometimes we may have had challenges before with another educator. One of the things to remember is let's not carry that baggage to a new teacher. Always assume good intentions and acknowledge, as I said, the teacher's perspective. Realizing, you can say to a teacher, I realize that you have, many students. Um, but that does not keep you from expressing your need, but acknowledging that when you're making time frames, making sure that we're considering, what a teacher can reasonably do, but never not share what your concern is and share the goals. I mean, one of the expectations that we should have and should be able to say to our educators is that we both or we all want this child to thrive. And that should be the focus. We want this child to thrive and be successful. So what are the things that we're going to do to ensure that this happens? So sharing the goal. Sometimes we may have to remind folks of what the goal is, but our goal is that this child thrives. Also, celebrating the wins. Sometimes, and a lot of times we do it to ourselves. Um, we don't celebrate the little things. There are some days where I just have to celebrate that I got up, that I, left the house on time, that I did not forget anything important. A lot of times we don't think about the little things and celebrating the little things. And so when a teacher does something that is very positive for your child, um, send a quick thank you note. And remember, this month you can send it uh, and write this appreciation for Family Engagement Month. So consider doing that. When something good happens, please do not keep it to yourself. Share the success stories. There may be something around, I would say, either that your child's behavior or around literacy, around reading, that you're working on at home and they're working on at school, and you see progress at home. Share it. It is so important to hear those success stories. It's important for your child to hear the good things that the teachers are saying about them. It's important for them to hear the good things that you're sharing with your child's teacher. And make sure that you ask the teacher to share the wins. Send you a note about some of the good things that are happening. Because as a parent, I love to hear um, the good things that were happening with my kids. It would make my day, and it also helped when there were challenging things that happened because it is very difficult. I can tell you as a parent when all you hear are the negatives. So encourage your child's teachers to share the all of the wins. Um, and as I said, I am sharing my notes and other resources with you. The one thing I also want to share here, this is something that I have been using with um, teachers for a while. And really, what we are looking at is how do teachers engage families? One of the important things in terms of collaboration and engagement between parents and teachers is trust. If we can't have trust, we can't truly collaborate. As a parent, you can't feel free sharing your concerns if there is not a degree of trust. And I just wanted to share this with you, and You can say to me in chat or later on, hey, I feel this way too. Because this is part of what we use for training. This is three questions that we as parents will never ask our teachers or our schools. But in order for us to collaborate with our teachers or schools, they got to answer these questions. And they're going to have to answer these questions in what they say and what they do, because we're not going to ask them. And so, as parents, this is what we want to know. Do you see me? Do you know who I am? Do you care about my child? And can I trust you? I can remember I did a workshop, excuse me, a focus group with preschool parents. And one of the questions that we asked was, do you feel welcome at your school? And that's so important to feel welcome at your school. And she said, yes. When I walk into the building, people speak to me. They know my name. They know who my child is. And that was important for her. And I think it's important for all of us that we are seen as parents and that we're seen as valued um, in our school community. So I often tell teachers, you've got to contact parents. You've got to talk to parents. You've got to, when there are things happening at school, you've got to send personal invitations to parents. If you want to know if your teachers care about your child, you're going to be observing that. We tell teachers to invite parents to visit the classroom, to see what's going on, to videotape how they um, teach your child. That is another way in terms of to know more about what's happening in the classroom. Ask your child's teacher to tape how they are teaching your child a particular skill, particularly a skill that they want you to work on at home. Um, we say to teachers, ask parents about their hopes and dreams. So feel free, share it with your child's teacher where you see your child now, 5 years from now. What are some of the goals that you're working on? We need our teachers to be a part of our child's dream while they are with that teacher. So please feel free to share that information. And trust is a big piece. And I think we say welcome um, parents into the classroom. Be transparent. We also say, look, we're all human. If you ever make a mistake with a parent, own it. Because if there's one way to foster mistrust is to make a mistake with a parent and then try to hide it. Sometimes, teachers may say, I'm going to get this to you in a week, and you don't hear from them in 2 or 3 weeks. Um, and what we don't know is something may have happened at home. We don't know what's going on. But a teacher may say, you know what, I forgot. Um, Own up to that mistake. So these are three questions that we really encourage um, teachers to answer by what they do and what they say. I know I have run out of time here. Um, I love this by Maya Angelou. She sort of reworked this quote from someone else. And it says, I've learned that people will forget what you've said. I've learned that people will forget what you do, but people will never forget how you make them feel. And it is so important for us as parents to feel the value that we bring, um, the information that we bring, and the importance that we bring with the information that we know. So, Family Engagement Month, we're celebrating it now, but you're needed all year long. I don't know if we have a second for any questions. Um,
Sure. If there are any questions, we can take those in the chat. And I'm also going to launch our poll for feedback. 1 second.
And like I said, if you have any questions later on, and I've got lots of resources um, for you. But if there's one thing I will just reiterate again, is how important you are um, in your child's education. And whether you feel welcomed at your school or not, never hesitate uh, to share your concerns. And if you don't feel welcome, please feel free to share with the administration about your ideas of how to be a school can have a more welcoming environment. So I really thank you for your time, and I am hoping that you're going to participate with us and celebrate with us for Family Engagement Month.
Great. Thank you so much, Beverly. And again, if everyone can take just another minute or two to complete our quick evaluation, the grants that we work on require that we report back to them that what we're doing is useful, relevant, and of high quality. So we do appreciate your feedback if you can just take a second to complete that. And as Beverly had mentioned, we will not have a tool time Tuesday next Tuesday as it's Veterans Day, but we will come back on the 18th for 5-minute family moments that can make a big impact. So we hope to see everybody there. And again, I did list the family engagement website and our appreciation link along with our YouTube page in case you joined us a little late and wanted to watch this session again. You can find it on the Tool Time playlist on our YouTube video. And I think that's it. Thank you everyone so much for joining us. Thank you, Beverly. Hope everyone has a great rest of their Tuesday.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care.